Hello and welcome to another Amazon Live with me, Brandon. This is Tech Today, and we're going over this really cool monitor by Lepow. It sounds very French, Lepow, but they did send this out to me to unbox and check out, and they also sponsored this live stream. So I really appreciate them doing that, and we're gonna have some fun. I'm really curious to find out all the different things that an external display can work with. So we have a Pixelbook, a Google Chromebook. We have an iPad Pro. We have some Samsung devices. We have my MacBook Pro. We have a variety of different things. And I do believe it is a touchscreen as well. And we'll find out. Let me pull this up so we can go over some of the specs on what comes with this portable monitor. But as you know, if you're working from home, things like that, you're probably bringing like a laptop home from work, right? Well, that's not always the most efficient thing for you in terms of being able to see everything that you normally would have been able to see on your computer, because you probably had external monitors and things like that at your work. Or maybe you are just on the go and you need an extra monitor. This can become really helpful. Like, I wish I had a Nintendo Switch, because I would always set it up with this. Obviously, they're all sold out everywhere else, so that's a bit of a bummer. But I think this thing can be really helpful for a lot of people. By the way, if you are in the chat, feel free to let me know. Feel free to let me know how your day is going. If you have any questions about the products here, questions about anything, I'd be more than happy to answer that for you. And if you'd like to follow me, I'm available at This Is Tech Today on Twitter, which I'm quite active on, Instagram, Facebook, and especially on YouTube, where I make tech videos and news and reviews and leaks and things like that. And you can also follow me here on Amazon, so the next time you're on Amazon and I happen to go live, you'll get a notification, so just when you're on the platform. But there's a follow button on the video itself. So let's check this out. So there is a coupon for this. So right now it's priced at $188.98. Very unusual, clever amount. But you can get $10 off of that. So it's just about $175 for this. It's a 15.6 inch computer display. It's 1080p. Uses USB Type-C with HDMI. And so you can connect it to a bunch of different types of devices here. The great thing is it's in stock. They have plenty of stock, and it ships right away. So you can get it this week if you wanted to. If you have Amazon Prime, you can get it within 2 days or so. So yeah, USB-C 1080p, an IPS screen with awesome color reproduction is what they're saying. It's quite vivid. You can attach multiple devices to it, which is really cool. So we'll have to see how that all turns out. Yeah, so if you have an Xbox, a Wii, Nintendo Switch, things like that would work really well with it. So you can do Type-C over mini HDMI, smart cover and screen protector. So yeah, so it's kind of like a folio case that goes with it that also like folds up, so you can mount your display there, which is really cool. Let's see here. And it protects it from scratches and things like that. It is fairly light. It's only 1.76 pounds. 0.3 inches thick. So it's not thick, it's thin. Oh, and it has dual speakers in an HDR mode. That's really neat. So 2 built-in speakers efficiently helps display multimedia files, especially when listening to music or watching movies, playing games. HDR mode support is excellent. Yeah, it's just there. So let's see here. You can do vertical mounted and landscape. Man, I really wish I had a Nintendo Switch. That would have been awesome. And I guess it comes with the screen protector as well. That's great. I mean, like, this is pretty dang cheap. You know, like it's not a bad price at all. So let's do what we do. And let's unbox it. Conveniently, there's a little rip right there. Lepow. wonder if that's what that means or what that's inspired by, or if it's truly French. Okay, it's a hefty box. Oh, nice little protective cover there. It comes with a screen protector as well. That's cool. Nice. Okay, so I mean, especially when you're traveling with it, you want to have a protector. Excuse me. So you can have 2 types of warranty. I'm not sure what the difference between the 3 years and 6 years is. Let me see if it shows it here on the page. I don't see anything here about the warranty. So yeah, we'll have to look at that. You have to go to their website in order to find out how that all works out. So in the box itself, you have a USB-A. I'm guessing this is a USB Type-C. Yep, USB-A to USB Type-C. It's probably to power it. And then a power brick right here. Nice. Okay. So I believe you have to have this plugged in. We'll find out. I know some of these might have a battery in it. Oh yeah, look at that underneath it. They give you quite a bit of cables here to make sure it works well. So you don't have to go out and buy more things, which, you know, that's always kind of a bummer if you have to do that, but you have what you need here. So we have a USB-A to micro HDMI to micro HDMI. And then in here, just a USB-C to USB-C cable. Actually looks fairly high quality. A lot of the fancier ones that you can get have the braiding on them, the cloth braiding, but they also have this metal sheathing there, which is nice to see that you get, you know, at least a high quality cable with it. Okay, let's pack this up and give it a look. We may have to grab some additional cables just to see if it works. We'll have to find out if USB-C to USB-C works. So now here is the case itself. It's like a faux leather kind of setup, magnetic, so it's connecting really well. Okay, yeah, here you go. There is the screen. And then, like I mentioned, they come with a screen protector, which is great. We'll put that on later. And then you can just mount it. So it has the magnets right there that attach to the back. And you can prop it up like that. There are some other ones that are a little bit weird that have like a hole in it and you have to put a pen in there to mount it up. I don't really understand that or get it. It seems quite odd. So having the case like this, you know, work where you can just mount it on its own is really convenient. In terms of the build quality, it feels pretty good. I actually can't tell if it's metal or plastic. It has a cold feel to it. It might be a thin metal, so, you know, do what you will with that. It is fairly light. If we were to get close here, let's zoom in a bit. So right here you have a headphone jack, USB-C, micro HDMI there. Other side you have another USB-C. Oh, that must be like a menu switch there, and like a power, and then you have speakers there. Not bad. So what I need to get for us to use this, I actually need to get an extension cable. so that we can plug this in. So let me grab that real quick for you, and then we'll check it out. So this one does not appear to have a battery built into it. So you have to keep that in mind. You would have to have an available outlet, you know, wherever you're at. So if you happen to go to a coffee shop or something like that, you need to have a spot there. So we're going to plug this in, and USB-A. Okay. Okay, I'm going to turn it on. So I'm going to just double check to make sure there's no battery in here or not. Okay. See the power button on. So there's no signal. Well, let me unplug it and see if it stays on. Power saving. Okay, so yeah, it does require you to have it plugged into a computer or a power outlet in order for it to work. Let's get a little power slack here. Some slack. And then the thing I'm most curious about is what things work with it. So if we have USB-C to USB-C, will that work? Or do I have to plug it into something that actually has an HDMI port on it? So turn on my Pixelbook Go, and there it is. It's already connecting. Look at that. It already knows. Isn't that awesome? So I don't believe it's touchscreen. Nope, it's not touchscreen, but you can use your Pixelbook Go. I'm guessing like a lot of different Chromebooks or things like that would work with it as well. But you can just plug it in. So it's over here. Let me see what else I can bring out. It's researching something for another video, so I can just drag it over. Look at that, it's a second screen. That is awesome. Super simple. So this is really helpful if you, for instance, were to go to a coffee shop or you're traveling or you need to set up shop like in a living room because we're all at home and stuff. You could, I mean, it's pretty slim, easy to put in like a bag, and you just set this up, and now you have two screens. You have your laptop and an additional display. Very convenient. So let's look at some of the menu settings and see what we got going on here. So you have volume. Oh, you can choose your input type C or HDMI. Okay, so if there's volume, let's pull up the YouTubes. This is always a fun video, so we'll bring this one up. Let's see if the volume comes out of here.
One benefit to having AirPods and those double noise.
Yeah. The introvert special right there.
Okay.
Hey friend, Brandon here. If you didn't know, I've been a professional audio engineer.
Okay, so in terms of the sound quality, it's not amazing. It's there. It feels a little bit congested and thin, but you know, most of the time you're probably going to use your laptop anyways for audio and things like that. So this is not where you would go, or you would have your earbuds in, let's be honest, headphones, things like that. But there is a headphone jack on here, so if you want to listen through it, you can have a higher quality audio from here. It's $175 or so for this, so you're not going to have everything, but it does look pretty good. So I'm looking at the image quality and things like that, and I'm actually quite surprised. So let's look at some of the features here. We have brightness all the way up. I like leaving things to where they look natural as much as possible, so I'm going to leave the contrast, the black levels, and sharpness on their own. You can change the echo. settings. So there's a gaming mode, so it's a little bit brighter. Probably go with that. What's DCR? I don't know what that. Oh, interesting. Aspect ratio, and then let's go back. You do color temperature. Oh yeah, so different preferences there. So you can go with a more clinical looking white color, or you can go with a more traditional white, like pure white, where it looks a little bit warmer, depending on what you go for. Language, you can change, looks like it's timeout feature, transparency mode, it's volume, whether you mute it. So let's find out if we mute, turn it off. I wonder if it'll then play on some initial impressions or thoughts, I should say, on the Google Pixelbook Go. Fantastic speakers, fantastic keys, kind of a okay trackpad. Like it, you know, I don't like the way that feels for the click. And the screen can feel a bit dim and low resolution for its price. That is, unless you go with the Core i7 Intel processor. Now you go up to 4K for the display, and the display looks good. But you know what comes along with that? A very expensive price. So it's about $1,400 for the 4K version. Now if you go for your baseline one, you know, 8 gigabytes of RAM, 64 gigabytes of storage. Keep in mind you're using Google, so everything's like in the cloud. This one's $650. It still feels a little bit pricey to me at that amount for what you get. But in terms of the way that it feels to use, to have a touchscreen Chromebook, and for it to have just phenomenal speakers and a keyboard, it's a great a Chromebook in order to just write, you know, papers on, or to surf the web just casually. So for students and things like that, this is a great option, but the price is a bit high. So I would say if you ever find this for maybe $500 or less, it's a good buy. It's worth paying a little bit more than those cheap ones you get for like $150 to maybe $250, because those are not built to last. They're just cheap, right? This one is a very pleasing experience. I have a desktop computer. I have, well, I'll show you here, the iPad Pro and the Magic Keyboard, and you know, all these different keyboards that could be really good, but I do really enjoy picking up the Pixelbook Go every now and then to write my papers on, just because it's a very nice experience to type on. So that's if that helps you to be more productive, it fits your needs where it's just like solid, especially within the Google ecosystem, definitely check out the Pixelbook Go. But yeah, try to find a deal if you can. And then an i5. And this is the one that I would ideally suggest at minimum. At minimum, I would suggest 8 gigabytes of RAM, 128 gigabytes of storage with the Intel i5 processor. The other one's like a mobile chipset, the M3, but the i5 is a little bit better, or well, quite a bit better. Once again though, price. You have to think about the price. It's $850. So I wish Google would just discount these things at quite a bit more so that it's more accessible. But dang, these things are... This is a really, really, really great Chromebook. It just is unfortunately pricing itself out of the competition. But there's come in a matte black or just black option and a not pink one. I'm not gonna lie, pink one looks pretty cool. Also, there's this like texture on the back, on the bottom, that people love and I love too. It's amazing. You know, feels good, great in the hand, nice matte finish and everything. It just is a good size. Like everything about this is great except for the price. No joke. Definitely worth a consideration though. All right. Now we need to try and see if this works with the MacBook Pro. So I have that plugged in right now. We're just gonna do this for a short bit because I just unplugged the power. And if the power goes out on the MacBook Pro, we ain't got a stream. That's a problem. Okay. Now we're plugged in. Look at that. It also works with the MacBook Pro. So, as you can see, oh, it knows that I'm on the left side. How does it know? How did it know, guys? It just knows. So this is, you know, what we're looking at here. It's a little inception there. Little inception, you see the screen on the left and then the window right here. So MacBook Pro works really, really well. No issues. Simply plug in a USB Type-C into a USB Type-C and it's working. Who would have thought? Thoughts on the MacBook Pro, especially the new 16-inch MacBook Pro? Awesome. No regrets. A huge, huge step up from the 15-inch model in so many ways, both in the processor, both in terms of stability and its cooling, and especially its keyboard. That's awesome. And a bigger screen is quite nice as well. I have no regrets on having this MacBook Pro. So let's see here. If I were to suggest an option, I don't think most people need the Core i9. Like the MacBook Pro, the 16-inch is really helpful for those who are doing more things with like video editing, if we're going to be honest. If you just do photo editing, you could probably get away with a more baseline model of MacBook Pro. Or even just like the 13-inch MacBook Pro would work well for photos and stuff. If you're just writing papers and surfing the internet, honestly, a MacBook Pro 16-inch is a bit overkill. But if you're the kind of person that does not plan on buying a new laptop or things like that for years and years and years and years, well, a 16-inch MacBook Pro isn't actually a terrible idea, because the idea is that you have so much headroom, you have way more than you possibly could need, that it will last you a long time. And I would say that, my experience and my understanding of the reputation of Apple is that they have really high quality products in terms of its hardware and things like that. And that's pretty much been my experience. Definitely get Apple Care though, it ends up being a fairly low cost compared to the overall cost of the laptop, to have some warranty support. Oh yeah, that's right. The speakers on the 16-inch MacBook Pro are phenomenal. They are crazy good. And surprisingly, the microphone is even good on it as well. The one thing that stinks is that their webcam still stinks. So it's 720p, which is showing its inadequacies quite a bit in our current climate. You know what I mean? So I wish Apple would get on that. That would be nice. Here's the thing that we probably need to find out. Can you hear the audio from the MacBook Pro into this? So we need to go into the menu real quick and turn on the audio again. Cool. I still want to like touch it because it's like here, so I'm more inclined. Hey Larry, I have no idea what you're talking about. Unfortunately, you would have to talk to Amazon support about that. I am just a random content creator talking about products. I have no idea about sales or orders that you have. Really sorry it didn't work out for you. But if you hit the contact or the help thing at the very bottom of the Amazon page, you might be able to find some help there. Hope that works out for you. But yeah, I don't have a direct affiliation with Amazon. Sorry about that. Let's check this out real quick. I don't know if you know who Mark Roper is, but like this video is awesome, hilarious because it's squirrels. Let's see, volume up. Okay, so it's coming out of my MacBook right now. And then
this is a bird feeder, and everything to my left is my attempt.
If they want the
Okay.
bird seed, they will first need to pass through what is basically an
So what you have to do is you have to go up to your volume settings, and I guess this model is known, at least in the software or hardware somewhere, as the Z1. So that is the display, and then you end up hearing it, stereo.
obstacle course for squirrels.
But MacBook Pro sounds way better,
Course is extremely challenging.
significantly better. But that's how you can control it. So this has been a very simple experience of just hooking up USB-C to USB-C from the MacBook Pro 16-inch to the Lepow. Not bad. Okay, let's try something else. a different product, and we're gonna plug in the MacBook Pro so that we can continue streaming and not lose it all, because that would be a bummer. So I've heard that you can just plug in an iPad up to it. So we have an iPad here. Let's see. Oh, let's get rid of that. We have an iPad. I have an 11-inch model with the Magic Keyboard. So we're going to plug it in just through USB-C. Oh, did I charge it? I don't know if I charged it. Let's find out. We'll find out. Because if we did not charge this, I will pull up a Samsung smartphone instead for now. Let's see. The iPad is thinking right now. It's thinking different, you might even say. Oh yeah. Well, I guess it's charging. That's an interesting thing. So there is a charging pass-through. So you have your charging brick going into the Lepow display, going into the iPad, and it's charging it. So let's do this real quick. Okay. So you have it plugged in. Let's see if the Lepow turns on. Are you on? Hello? No signal. Oh, bummer. Is there a setting that might be on the iPad that affects whether or not it outputs? So let's see. Display and brightness. If you happen to know, if you happen to be in the chat, and you might know anything about using the iPad with an external monitor, feel free to chime in. There might be a limitation because of the battery life. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come back to that because I just want to make sure that everything's working out properly. We're going to test out, in the meantime, some Samsung Galaxy devices. I have both the Note 10 Plus rather, and I also have the brand new Samsung Galaxy S20 Ultra. These are the top of the line options coming from Samsung in terms of their mobile phones. It's quite extra, I would say. So those are ready to go, and there's a very unique feature that comes with both of them that I'm really excited to show you. But first, we're gonna charge the iPad. Okay, the great thing about USB Type-C is that it's like everywhere right now. So we have, we just have a Samsung Galaxy Note 10 here. So let's pull this up here. There's a option, the normal Note 10, which is a little bit smaller, and then the Note 10 Plus, which is what I have here. It's kind of wild, if you think about it. Like, let's look at the prices here. Note 10, and then Note 10. Oh, both of these are okay. Oh, they even have Amazon Renewed ones. If you haven't checked that out, that is a great way to save some money. Okay, here's a Note 10 Plus. So you can get a Note 10 Plus for $900, or the regular Note here for $565, essentially. That's not bad. I think the colors, too, are way better on the Note 10 than on the S20 Plus lately. I have a skin on mine, but I have the Aura Glow one, and it's really pretty. But the Note 10 is really neat because it has a stylus on it. You take it out, it goes right into the Notes app. And you could say, subscribe to This Is Tech Today. And there are a bunch of different features. You can scroll down. you can erase things, you can pin it, you can save it. So now it's just saved as a note. And then it has an in-display fingerprint reader, a bunch of really cool things. You can navigate with this right here. You can see it show up as like a cursor, things like that. It's really, really cool. Now, where it really gets interesting is with the power of Samsung DeX. If you're not familiar with Samsung DeX, it's kind of like a desktop experience run off of your phone. So if you think about it, our cell phones have come a long way in just a little over a decade, right? Well, they are significantly more powerful than a lot of desktops and laptops that we've had even in the past, I would say even 5 years. So the chips are just so powerful and efficient that it can run a desktop-like experience. And that's something that Samsung has really invested in is DeX. And all it takes is an external display and then a USB-C cable. Hello there, Nyan. Ooh, French, perhaps. That's really cool. Oui, bonjour. But I plug into that into my Note 10, and instantly Samsung DeX pops up over here on this screen. So you can change it. So now you can do, let's find out. There's an option to use your Samsung DeX or your Note. Oh, use your phone as a touchpad. That's an option right here. So now I'm going to do that, and now I can move around on the display. See? So I can hit OK. And now I have this desktop-like experience here on the phone. So you can just swipe around. Like that. So it's like a touch screen. Oh, I don't have enough apps to do that. Okay, there it is. Yeah, so I can swipe around. I can, let's see, let's pull up YouTube. There you go, we have the YouTube app. Here's a video I just put out.
You see, news recently came out saying that one of the most...
I can control the audio from here. So it's not going out to the display itself. Let's see here. Does it let me change the quality? Oh yeah, there it is. So it goes up to 1080p. I think it looks pretty good. I mean, this is a video I just put up. You're from Brazil, wow. How are you over there in Brazil? What's it like? What'd you do today? Are you staying safe? You know, are things okay over there? Let me know. Also, how did you find me? But yeah, this is an option. In terms of scrolling though, that is an interesting thing. I don't know how this works over here, over in DeXland. Oh, 2-finger scroll. There it is. There it is. You see it? 2-finger scroll. It's actually fairly intuitive then. What does this say? Touchpad is turned on. So DeX is really interesting because it has a lot of desktop-like features, but it uses a lot of the Android type methods of providing information. New responder. I'm not sure what that means, Nyan. Sorry about that. But it'll show you notifications here. You have some quick toggles here. So this is like an example of, like, you know, when you're on your Android device, if you swipe down to the quick toggle or notification shade, there's some options like that here. You can adjust the sound. Looks like that's ringtone, media. So you just tap, drag.
With 128 gigabytes of storage. That's $50 less.
So it looks like in this case, I'm not able to figure out how to get the audio to go through the display. But that's okay. You need to take a screenshot easily here on Samsung DeX. See it showed up right there. Can minimize YouTube. Go home, you can go back. All those buttons are there. You do an app overview. I was flying my drone earlier today, so that showed up. You can go to the internet on DeX if you wanted to. So that's an option. It defaults to Google. You can go over here. What's something really cool that we could check out on here? Oh yeah, music as well, your calendar. You know, here's Google Chrome, for instance. I was using Snapdrop earlier because it's really cool. Oh, that's really neat. So now that I've clicked into an address bar, I have a keyboard that shows up here. So I can just go to like, this is techtoday.com. And you can just see what it looks like here. So this is my website. You can learn about me here if you want to. You can even work with me. If you're a brand and you would like to work with me, there's options here, both on YouTube and on Amazon Live. But if you'd like to be on an Amazon Live with a sponsored live stream, just like this one with Lepow, you can definitely do that. You can contact me at my email address here. But there are definitely options to talk about your product, and then I can unbox it and show what its offering is. So that's definitely available on my website at thististechtoday.com if you wanted to. So let's see here. Oh wow, there's a phone. I wonder if you can call people from here. I don't really want to demonstrate that here, so I don't give away any phone numbers that I shouldn't. But yeah, this works really, really well with the Note 10. Really cool. Now, my thoughts about the Note 10 are mixed. In terms of build quality, that's awesome. It's really great. The screen, phenomenal. But it does have a curved edge screen, so that part ends up being a little bit difficult for a variety of reasons. The first one being that you can get some accidental touches when you hold it a certain way. So they definitely have software on there to help alleviate some of the false touches that you would have, but it's not perfect. And we still have not advanced far enough to really avoid a lot of those issues. So that's kind of a bummer. But the biggest bummer is that you have the S Pen, the stylus, right? But when you have a curved edge to screen, you end up accidentally sliding off a lot. You know, you're trying to get something, you know, because the actual image goes all the way in these corners right here. So when you do that, it's hard to actually tap on anything, or maybe you're trying to do a screenshot or draw in a certain area and trying to get right off to the edge, it's just going to slip off. It's just too easy because that curved screen. That's kind of a bummer, and it feels a little bit self-contradictory for a device that uses an S Pen, right? You need to be able to get to the edges. So that's the biggest bummer. But there are plenty of pros on this one. In terms of the camera, it's solid, it's good. It's one of the best ones out there for smartphones. I do have a preference, and I do believe that the Google Pixel phones and the iPhones are better. But this is not a terrible camera. And so right now, a lot of cameras are kind of coming down to preference. So that's something to keep in mind. It comes with a normal, a telephoto, and an ultra wide angle camera there, which is really nice. You have expandable storage with a micro SD card option there. Some really neat filters and things like that, if that's, you know, something that you enjoy and want to work with. But the biggest thing is definitely the S Pen. So if you are the type that needs to sign a lot of contracts on the go, and things like that. This is a great fit for you. It also allows you to control your phone in certain ways and for certain apps just by using gestures and stuff. So it's a little bit more intelligent, has more chips and sensors in it that were not there with the Note 9. So you can kind of make gestures with the S Pen, and it can impact things like the camera, like which direction it's facing, whether it's zooming in or out, things like that. So that can be really cool for you and convenient, or a little bit gimmicky. But I think, at least with that, with the gestures with the S Pen for your camera, it seems gimmicky and useless to you until you need it. And then you're like, ah, I get it now. This makes sense. So I do like that feature. As a whole, battery life is solid. The phone does feel a little bit big. You know, I gotta give it, gotta state the reality there. If you've used like an iPhone 11 Pro Max or XS Max or 10 Max, things like that, it's kind of similar in terms of the size. So that might be a bit rough for some people who don't have the biggest hands or don't like dealing or you know, holding onto a huge phone. Keep that in mind. Okay. So we know it works with the Note 10 Plus, so let's unplug that. And we're actually going to close out some of these here for us. Now I'm going to bring in the brand new Samsung Galaxy S20 Ultra. This is $1,200. It used to be $1,400, so it's kind of crazy for me to say it's on sale, but it is on sale for 14% off. But it is definitely not an inexpensive phone. It's a chunky phone too. It definitely has a lot of weight to it. Has these cameras to it and everything. But let's unlock this, and then all we're going to do is simply plug it in through USB-C from the Lepow into the S20 Ultra. And just like that, it opens up Samsung DeX. And then likewise, I can either do a screen mirroring or use the phone as a touchpad. Let's do screen mirroring so you can see what I'm actually looking at here. Isn't that cool? You can mirror everything onto this display. What happens if I go horizontal here? Do I have the rotation lock on? I don't think I do. And even if I did, I might be able to get out of it. So let's go to something that's not crazy that I could show you. We have the YouTubes again. Okay, and we'll turn it sideways. Oh yeah, there you go. You're able to not only use your Samsung devices with Samsung DeX on this display, but even just mirror what you're actually looking at. A great option if you're just trying to get, you know, a bit more of it. So let's see here.
Interact with others, the effectiveness of the things we work on and do together.
Okay, so this one looks like the audio is coming out of the Lepow. So I'm not sure what affects, you know, which one, whether it's coming out of the phone or the display. Let's see if we can tell. Looks like it's here. Okay. Well, that's good to know. It's good to know that the volume, at least in this situation, is going to the actual display and not coming out of your phone. Now, you don't just have to screen mirror everything. You can actually go into Samsung DeX. So let's click on that. It starts booting up. And then maybe you want to use this as a touchpad again. You can do that. Let's see, accelerometer. It's backwards. There we go. Okay, let's see what Call of Duty is like over here. No, I don't want to do the update. That's a bummer. Almost a gigabyte. Oh dear, we can't mess with that right now. That's a bummer. Well, guess can't do the Call of Duty thing right here. What other things do we have? Bummer on no games. But yeah, this one also has a lot of similar things. Oh, you have Lightroom in here? Oh my goodness. Wonder what other games I have here. But you do have the ability to add in different apps and things like that so you can get through things. And seen on a bigger screen, you have the windowed options because of Samsung DeX. This is a really great companion to it, especially if you actually have a keyboard and mouse, so you can connect it over Bluetooth if you want to. Now you don't have like dongles or cables coming out of your display. It's just connecting to your phone, which is outputting up to the Lepow. So you will have to have one cable at least plugged in for the signal, and then one cable plugged in for the power. So keep that in mind. All touch interaction is external to the display, so either your phone being used as a touchpad or through like a keyboard and mouse that you hook up to it. The color looks good. I mean, you can see it on the screen. It's fairly bright. It looks very neutral and clean, which is not something that you're always able to get. But with an IPS panel, it is a little bit easier. It was probably quite a bit easier to get more color accurate and reliable displays out to the masses. So let's unplug this. That's S20 Ultra. And let me talk about real quick, just give some thoughts on it. So the S20 Ultra is Samsung's best right now. It does have some pretty beastly or fairly beastly cameras. You have a 100x zoom, telephoto zoom. And I'll be honest, not my favorite. Don't find it particularly useful. Those who find it extremely useful, I'm not sure if it's always being used for the right reasons, but I am thankful that Samsung is pushing the boundaries, that they're trying and researching and finding options to give us technology that has advanced far beyond our practical use. So I would encourage them to keep doing that. Like, I'm thankful that they're doing that. But in terms of consumer practical use, 100x is not very practical. So in many ways it feels like it's under-delivering, which is a bit of an unfortunate reality when you are putting 100x zoom on the back of your phone. In terms of its practical benefits, that zoom, it's usually pretty dang good at 20x, still usable at 30x, but beyond that, it kind of deteriorates quite a bit that you wouldn't want to use it. So should they have marked it as 20x zoom or 30x zoom and that's it, and that was the marketing, or did it make sense to have the 100x zoom? That's up for you to decide, I think, there in terms of how you purchase things and whatever, but I personally don't think the 100x zoom makes a lot of sense to me. You also have very, very thick camera bump here, which is kind of a bummer. You have to have a case, things like that, in order for it to not rock up against your desk or your table. So keep that in mind. If you're going to purchase a Galaxy S20, I would strongly suggest not getting the S20 Ultra, the 5G one, because the practical benefits for that significant price increase is just not worth it. Likewise, you should not get the normal S20, even though it's $800, so quite a bit cheaper. This one does not have certain frequency bands for 5G. While 5G is a bit complicated, for sure, it's quite confusing for a lot of people, and there's some concerns, but I think the best way to think about it is there are two types of 5G. One that has frequency waves that are extremely powerful within a short distance. So like if you have it on like a telephone pole or something like that, and you happen to be standing right next to it, you're going to get just exceptional, just crazy internet speeds. But when it's short range like that, if you walk down the block, you're going to have dramatic impacts to your experience, your ping time, latency, and speed. So how practical is that? Do they have to put 5G towers on everything? So that's something to consider. It's kind of a bummer if that's the only option they have. Now, if they have long range 5G, that's a bit different. That allows you to go past walls and things like that. And what T-Mobile, for instance, is aiming for is both that long range and that short range. So that is the fruit or the result of them acquiring Sprint. But the reason why I bring that up is 5G is not entirely all together. They haven't figured out every single thing about it and certain standards and things like that, it seems like. Because you have your shortwave and your long wave. Well, if you do end up getting a Samsung Galaxy S20, the one that I would suggest is the S20 Plus. It's kind of the happy medium. You have a 6.7-inch screen instead of the 6.9-inch screen from the S20 Ultra 5G that I have here. So not like a huge difference with that. You have a 30x zoom instead of a 100x zoom, which, like I mentioned, the zoom is really only practical and good from 20 to 30x. Beyond that, not a huge deal. Now here's the biggest thing. It comes with sub 6 and millimeter wave 5G, while the S20, the baseline one, is only sub 6. It does not have millimeter wave compatibility on the base model. And the S20 Ultra is a bit much and a bit pricey and overpriced, in my opinion, for what you're getting. So you might as well go with the one that's that happy balance between the two extremes and go with the S20 Plus. Definitely worth checking out and saving some money there. So let me highlight that, and it's right there. So yeah, you can get it unlocked and works with any carrier that currently works with Samsung. So keep that in mind. Don't spend more than you really have to, because by golly, the S20 Ultra is an expensive phone. It's an extremely expensive phone. Now let's try this out one more time. We'll find out if it works or if there are any issues, or maybe it just doesn't work. But you have the iPad Pro 11-inch, the newest version, and then I have the Magic Keyboard that comes alongside it. Oh, there it is. It worked. You know what it was? You know what the problem was from before? It's the battery was too low. So I couldn't output. But now, if you have enough battery on this, you can just have the USB-C coming out of the Lepow going into your iPad Pro. This actually makes a lot of sense in this context compared to maybe like a laptop and things like that. But man, you have that touch interface feeling. It is doubling up right now. It's just mirroring. So let's find out if there's an option to expand the displays here. Does it tell you? Does it allow you to do that? You have a connected display right here. So if you go into your settings, you can change where it's going. So you allow display mode changes. So let's do that. Does it allow me to expand my desktop? Or is it only going to mirror it? Yeah, I don't see it here. So I'll probably have to mess with this a little bit more on my own, but I at least know that the iPad Pro does work with the Lepow, which is really cool. Yeah, it runs really smooth. I can see how the iPad looks way more saturated in its colors, but that might not be the most natural or calibrated option here. You do get a little bit of, you know, some bars here on the left and right, so that part's a little bit of a bummer. But that has a lot to do with the aspect ratio of the iPad Pro. Speaking of the iPad Pro, let me share some thoughts. I really like the 11-inch model. I think that's a very practical, good option for most people. If you are traveling a lot and things like that, and this is not your main device for getting stuff done, then the 11-inch model makes sense. Now, if your iPad's really your only thing that you have, the 12-inch one makes some sense, but especially if you are primarily staying at home, right? So keep that in mind. You don't want to spend more than you have to, and you also don't want to end up in a situation where your device is just too unwieldy and big. And I think that the 12-inch one does feel that way. But there's a few options. I have the space gray one, which is really cool. And you do have a few accessories that can go along with it. You have the Apple Pencil, which is really convenient and helps me with signing contracts and, you know, filling out forms digitally, which I've really appreciated. There's some robust app or note-taking apps, or even just coloring and things like that for creating art. So a lot of animators have moved over to the iPad Pro, which is really neat and cool. And then I have the Magic Keyboard here that allows it to look like it's floating and everything. So let's unplug this from the Lepow real quick. And the keyboard and the trackpad and everything is phenomenal. It's so good, really great experience. This is a lot of fun to type on and navigate. So definitely something that's worth a shot as well to look at. So yes, that is it for this stream. If you would like to pick up any of the items that I talked about, or even beyond that, you can definitely do that by clicking the carousel that's down below, and it will take you to that page. Anything that you purchase through those links, or even beyond that, I will receive a small commission. So if you buy like the Lepow monitor, I would receive a small commission for that, and it does help me continue to make content for you for free. And then if you don't buy the monitor, but you click through them and maybe you get like, I don't know, like a Baby Yoda toy or some green beans. I don't know if they sell that on Amazon, but if you do that, I will still receive a commission for that if you've initially clicked through one of my links. Also, if you'd like to follow me on any social media, you can follow me at This Is Tech Today. I'm quite active on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, but most especially YouTube. And if you'd like to follow me here on Amazon Live, you can definitely do so by hovering over the video if you're on desktop, and you can click the little follow button there. And so the next time I go live, and you happen to also be on Amazon at the same time, you'll be notified of that. Thank you for stopping by. I hope you have a great day, evening, night, wherever it is. And thank you so much to Lepow for sending this out.